Avoidants often struggle with addiction, and they are, in fact, more prone to it than other attachment styles. And that addiction can be various different things. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, gambling, it could be an addiction to adult content, it could be an addiction to social media, an addiction to hobbies, an addiction to work. It could be various different things, but they are prone to addictive behaviors. There are reasons for this. And the main reason is that addiction, the addictive behavior and the addiction itself, is a method of avoiding. This is a person that has learned from childhood to avoid dealing with issues, to suppress emotions rather than process them. So the addictive behavior, one, it distracts them. It keeps their mind occupied on whatever it is that they're doing so they don't have to face those negative emotions that they're trying to suppress. And the addictive behavior gives them a hit of dopamine. Dopamine is the reward hormone, the reward chemical. That's what makes you feel good when you're in a relationship or when you're doing something fun and exciting. That thrill you get when you go skydiving or skiing or scuba diving, that's dopamine. And it makes you feel good and it helps numb the negative emotions that the avoidant doesn't want to face. This is a person that received consistent childhood emotional neglect. They were not given that love and nurturing in the way that they needed. And they didn't have anybody helping them process emotions. Nobody showed them how to deal with life stress. So they learned to stuff it, put on a happy face. They couldn't express their emotions in their households growing up. So they learned to just not deal with it, avoid it, stick their head in the sand like an ostrich. The addictive behavior is a coping mechanism. And due to constant suppression of emotions throughout their entire lives, many of them really do get to the point where they rely on things like alcohol to actually access their feelings. Without the alcohol, it's just so difficult for them to even access and express any kind of emotion whatsoever. So you might find, especially with dismissive avoidance, that they need to be drinking to have a good time, especially with their partner, to open up or to be affectionate at all. But these addictive behaviors can really have a wide spectrum. Many are addicted to social media, constantly scrolling on their phones, getting the likes, getting that little dopamine hit, that validation that they're desperately seeking. Many of them self-medicate through drugs. Many of them seek dopamine chasing activities in other ways. Some of them can be addicted to fitness, constantly going to the gym, constantly, just trying to get that dopamine high and distract themselves as much as they possibly can. But those addictive behaviors are really truly a method of avoiding, and that is why they are so prone to it. Many dismissive avoidants experience a degree of alexithymia. Alexithymia is the inability to recognize and understand their own emotions, as well as the inability to recognize and understand the emotions in others. It comes from consistent emotional suppression. And many of them require or need those addictive behaviors to be able to access those feelings at all. And even when they do, they often don't even understand their own feelings. The human mind learns in repetition. The more you repeat anything, the more automatic it becomes. So when you suppress emotions and repeat that behavior throughout your entire life, that becomes what's automatic. And when they allow themselves to access them, it's usually through addictive behaviors. And that addictive behavior can even be something that appears to be healthy, like I said, like fitness, maybe some sort of hobby. But it's a method of avoiding and it's a method of distancing themselves from their partner as well.